I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a chance to look the minutes over, fellas?
Motion. Did. Second.
Okay. Gary made the motion to approve the minutes, and Tracy seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then we've got handwritten claims for Iowa LEA training and the Iowa State Sheriffs and Deputies Association. That's the here.
Yep.
How much does it amount to?
Well, the sheriff's one's $842.
We have to go to some training stuff.
And then there's a, oh yeah, that's what that amounts to right there. And the invoices are attached.
How many people attended?
3, I'm sorry.
I would say that I don't know how to go about it, but I'm not so sure that secondary roads might do away with the union.
This has nothing to do with unions. Yeah. Morning, Mr. Thompson.
Good morning.
So is there a motion to approve that handwritten claim?
So move.
Second.
Tracy made that motion. Gary seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 On the front of that
Yep.
initial. Is that good enough? Or you- You want all 3 of this?
Nope.
What's that?
You got 'em.
You want signed or initials?
Just initial fine.
Yeah, he needs to have it.
It's
Yeah, it's just
not
kind
an
of
active one, but I still have to file that it's
yeah.
suitable.
Things are a little warm.
At least they don't fog over quite like glasses in a mask.
Regarding number 5 on your agenda, do you have anything I can look at?
Anything like
Anything I can look at?
this copy?
What are you doing on that, by the way?
What are we doing on this? Well, it would help some of the negotiations, if you will, for the Human Resource Department, which we don't have a department.
Who contacted this firm? Of all the firms out there under the sun?
They come recommended by Heartland Insurance.
Okay. You do understand that anything involving an attorney, I sign off on it or it doesn't happen
Didn't know who.
under the code.
Okay.
You don't hire law firms unless I'm saying.
Okay.
So in the future, if you're gonna do something like that, I'd appreciate being in the loop other than seeing it on an agenda item.
Sure. Yeah, no clue of that. So.
Figured as much. Because stop and think about it. You can hire a new sheriff, right? No, you got one under the code, chapter 331. New treasurer. Now you got one. They call the shots. Got one county attorney, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay, this urban renewal report, is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, Tracy made that motion. Gary seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Does this need to be signed off anywhere? I didn't see.
Yep, are you? I'll look. And that's just initial, I know I have to get online and then I'll put
They charge $1,850 a month regardless.
just initial on that front page, because I have to
That's
go
your
online.
two
and do
choices.
additional.
You either go by the hour, the top one,
Oh, okay.
or you can go the other one. That's what it says in the letter.
But that won't be happening.
I was gonna say, we may need to table this, give you a chance to look this over. I'm sorry, I was unaware of that.
That's fine.
And I'm sure there's other firms out there that does this.
Well, and also too, yes, there's all kinds of firms out there. And then if you need someone to actually come out, Cedar Rapids is a lot closer because you're paying those folks, unless you do the 18 whatever a month,
Mm-hmm.
1850 a month.
But you also pay them mileage on top of that.
So, well, I just got this.
I understand, yeah.
And there's lots of firms out there.
So that's tabled or
We'll
whatever.
table that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
give David a chance to look at this. Any reports?
Conservation last night. It was a long meeting last night. Missed you.
I did talk to Shelby and said I was not gonna make that meeting, but I predicted it would go till about 10 o'clock. Now, that was an overly long prediction, but
It was after 7. About it.
No new director.
No,
I don't
no,
think
not
you've
there.
advertised, have
I
you?
mean, they're short 3 right now, so no, Shelby's stepping in as of right now, filling in. And they're short-handed. Just lots going on, you know what I mean? They need more manpower, you know, some of the things in the parks, the trees and cleanup, you know, they just need help.
Well, they had advertised for a ranger.
They got 2, and that maybe you could fill in. They didn't laid on that too much last night, but they got 2 positions that they got there.
I had spoke to Shelby last week and then again yesterday. Sounds like they have two ranger positions. They have 2 candidates I think that they feel pretty comfortable with, and right now they're in the background check stage.
Yes, I don't know how long that takes.
I'd like to think that it'll be done this week. It just kind of depends on, when you have I'm pretty sure it's Mark Johnson doing it, don't quote me on that, but when you have a detective doing it, and then all of a sudden his phone rings on something else and he has to drop everything to handle to something else, it can take a little bit of time. I'd like to think it's gonna be done this week.
So then they'll be, if they both come through the background check with flying colors, they're gonna hire them both.
Yeah. When they first put the advertisement in, it was to fill in 1 position. Now we have 2. So I think legally they will have to advertise again to fill the 2nd position, correct?
We don't have to re-advertise, we have to have it posted, the opening posted for 10 days.
Okay,
And I told her yesterday, go ahead and put the posting back up,
okay.
so. Yeah, their interview process has been so close in time to the new position from Scott Bauman going to the sheriff's department. I don't feel that they need to re-advertise. They've already advertised it up they've overdone the advertising, so to speak. It's just a matter of complying with the Veterans Preference Statute. That we posted for 10 days.
But they can't hire the second person until after the advertisement is.
I think that they probably are okay either way, but I told them, since the background check's still going on, to repost it just to cover our bases.
That makes sense. It don't make sense to advertise a position and then have it filled before the advertisement's over.
Then Heartland Insurance on any of the claims and all that. There was a adjuster was around, I was told through the grapevine. Do you know, Rick, because
Haven't had a meeting.
okay, the VA's been working on the dog pound out there, and I had substantial damage,
I think they had some roof damage.
Yep, and
Yeah.
and I did not know anything about it until last night. They were showing me pictures and everything, and
So, is there somebody gonna use that building?
the VA is.
They've got a lease agreement, a Veterans Post is, VFW Post is basically renting it.
And so who's gonna be responsible for the roof repair?
Well, county insurance will
It's
cover
our
it,
insurance.
Okay,
We own it.
and we still own the building.
Yeah.
but so it's out of conservation's hands?
No, they're still in control. They own everything.
They're the
It's just
landlord.
the idea they're leasing it for $1 a year, correct?
Yes.
Is it per year?
And the way it was set up is that they're responsible, they do what they want to do, because it sounded like, I can't think of the gentleman's name, the little white bearded.
Dale?
Yes. He was out there last night. They were doing doing wiring already. They had somebody,
Yeah, what they're doing, Gary, is they're leasing the building, and basically they're responsible for everything once it gets turned over to them, other than the roof, because the roof was damaged in the storm.
and it's a shingled roof.
So, and it'll be, like everyone else's roof. One, it'll be covered, and two, when someone gets time, I'm guessing it's getting a new roof.
Yeah, see, I don't know. That, like I said, it was news to me last night when they were talking about it.
But they're doing all the remodeling and wiring, if there's any plumbing or whatever, they have to run by, if they want to do anything major, they've got to run it by the conservation board, but, other than that, the building was just sitting vacant, so
Yeah.
it seems like it's a good use for the building.
Yeah, that letter from,
Isn't that there?
Read it.
the
This
food
one
pantry.
here? That's the food pantry?
Right.
Yeah, I ain't done with it yet.
Okay,
I get so far and
okay.
okay.
Thank you. I'll actually give this to it's addressed to the board, but I'll give it to the sheriff. Since he's in charge over there.
Yeah, it's no use. There's no problem in spreading that around a little.
The dick of the roll down on
Yeah,
Should give it to, should give it to the gentleman that's over there.
You been over to the county transportation building?
I have not. Haven't been over there for a while.
They're pouring more cement today. Saturday they poured where the offices are gonna be. To me, it looks like they did an excellent job. Really happy. Now that's 40 by 30,
Yeah.
34. Don't quote me on the footage. 40 wide anyway, I know that. And then from there back to the west, they're pouring, the French drains are in on that south side, and they're pouring from there all the way down to the end of the building this morning as we speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, things are finally progressing, but as for the water and sewer outside,
Well, but it's all stubbed on the inside.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
which is the main thing.
Where's the water and sewer come in at?
South side now, just like I want it.
That makes sense.
Well, I think it comes in off of 9th, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, but I mean, see, before they wanted to run it underneath the cement all the way across there, inside the building.
Hmm.
I did not want that. I wanted it on the outside of the building, down the road if there's any problems.
Oh, yeah.
So they put that in.
The pipes are underneath the walls, that's it. They're stubbed in, understand? It's not hooked up to nothing, so.
Okay. So you gotta get it over to the city.
Yeah,
But Pickering's probably doing that, isn't he?
yeah, yeah. And I understand it. He's busy.
Yeah.
I get it. He's down at my neighbor's this morning. I mean, what, my
Well, they're
place
not
at
ready for
7
water
o'clock.
anyway.
No. No.
And you'll need to get with the city as far as that utility pole, what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have another problem with the city up here, so we'll see.
So when's the expected completion date?
Well, the contract said 1st December, so.
Think it'll be there?
If everybody pulls together, should be no problem.
You know, the tough stuff is pretty well handled,
Mhm.
not, getting.
Especially once the
electrician-
cement's done,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
you know?
Get your electrician in there and the heating and cooling people,
Yeah.
so.
Shouldn't take too long. Well, you got a double wall, we're double walling the whole building, aren't we?
Correct.
The inside wall isn't done. kind of insulation it is, but there's a lot of, I think it's styrofoam bead. Is that what they're using now?
Fiberglass, battings. What they're putting in there.
But on these buildings that are out, that got tore apart. What is that, styrofoam beads?
Well, a lot of it's the paper stuff. And then some is fiberglass itself, like Mike Cardiman's building. That's there all the way on the west end of New Hall. That's fiberglass.
You usually tell the paper it sticks to everything.
Look at my house.
Yeah, that blown in insulation is just,
And I thought 7 inches of rain, a lot of it would come off.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I don't understand it. It's just
it's like
everywhere.
spit wads everywhere.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah. Sticks like glue.
That's right. I know when we were replacing the soffit pans, I was just shocked how much stuff was stuck to the soffit pans. I mean, you really had to dig at it to get it off the Bennett soffit pans.
Mhm.
You know, so
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't even open it 'cause it's not addressed to me.
There you go. You need mine. You don't want to read it?
A friend of mine's having a test this morning. Oh, he had it done around. It's his 5th one. He's got to go down tomorrow no, not tomorrow, Friday, for a sleep apnea test. Yeah, so they said, well, you got to have a COVID test. And I just looked at him yesterday. I said, that's your 5th one. I said, so wonder you're bald on top, sticking that up your nose and rubbing the top of your head, killing all your hair.
My son had to with his lab partner that was positive, but he said it goes up to your brain.
Yeah. I still think this is all gonna go away about the 5th of November.
You'd be thinking wrong then.
I had a
Probably depends on who gets elected.
driver go in for some outpatient
We're
surgery.
dealing with this for the next year.
They did not test him.
Really?
He claims they didn't test him.
For what?
It's an outpatient surgery.
When's our next courthouse?
For what? COVID?
Yeah.
Today?
Thought it was coming up.
Yeah. The new packer at the landfill that ran went out already. $400 on it.
Kidding.
Well, it's good that it went out.
Well, it should be covered under warranty, but Good morning.
Well, it ought to be. Gotta have 2 years on it. Is that what they got?
Actually, again, I think it's about 10 years. You know, they got extra hours on it.
Yeah, they do.
But they're gonna fix it right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
And they're gonna take it into the shop?
no, that was a new one on me. I just,
How can they,
Of course, with the shop they've got.
they're doing it right out in the field.
No kidding.
Yeah, see, it locked up on the side hill at the dump itself. So then they had, I can't think of it, somebody down from Williamsburg that's got a, similar to Coonrod, big record. Cause they tried pulling it up the hill, cause the wheels won't turn. They're locked up tight. So they tried using the excavator, the dozer, and then haul truck, that 6-wheel drive big. All three of them just sat there and spin. Couldn't move it, couldn't drag it. So they had somebody from Williamsburg come up with a big crane hooked onto it, and he could skid it in the mud up, so it's up on top of the hill, a flat
It's on a
part.
level.
Yes. So now they got it jacked up, and then they, of course, you got to move them big steel wheels off of it and pull the axles out. And they're doing it there. That was a new one on me.
Well, if it gets, can't move it, you can't move it.
Shade tree mechanics. Only thing, no shade tree.
they can probably fix that.
Said it'd be up and running this week yet, so we'll see.
They probably know what's wrong. Some pin, something come loose or something. Boy, oh boy. That's a lot of pull to not be able to move it.
Dead weight, yeah.
Waiting for the clock to tick. It's probably close enough. Depends which watch and clock you're looking at. Mindy? It's 9:30-ish.
Does anybody know why I'm here?
No, other than myself.
Okay, great. So since we have the disaster declaration for Benton County, DHS has to provide disaster supplemental food assistance. And it's regulated by the feds. And so we will be open next week, Tuesday through Saturday, 8 to 4:30, for families to come in to apply for that. We are expecting approximately 700 households, that's the projection, that can come in and apply for this. And so I said, all right, we need to get a few things cleared with the board because our building is not open except for by appointment, and this will obviously not be appointments. So I had called Rick and talked with him a little bit, and he thought I should get on the agenda so that I could let you guys know to make sure that we would be okay with having people come in. What we had kind of talked about was they'd still be screened like what Dick does when somebody is coming into the building anyway at this point. We're going to have waiting in our clerical area and in our break room. It's kind of set up slick, so they're coming in one way and waiting socially distanced by at least 6 feet, going into one room and having an interview that takes like 10 to 15 minutes with a worker, and then they'll move on to the next room where they actually get their card that'll have the money on it, and then they'll exit that room and then out the hallway so that nobody's doubling back by each other. Well, the biggest thing is that we'll be having a lot of people come potentially, and that we will be open on Saturday from 8 to 4:30 as well. That's part of the federal requirement that we're open on the weekend.
So what we need to look at is how we're going to, when the sheriff comes in here, I presume he'll be here within 15 minutes, or excuse me, half hour. He's gonna need to get security there for
Somebody
Saturday.
there for Saturday.
And then how we're gonna handle them as they come in. Are we gonna only allow so many in, so they're not just mingling in the hallways.
My questions for you, did you send notice out to these 700 people that they qualify, or you, this kind of a throw a
I
dart
am-
on the wall?
Actually not certain how all of that goes out. I know the governor has had it in some of her press releases that she does, because we've had people calling our office. So Lynn County's was not last week, I think the week before that. Jasper and Powashik County are this week, and then Benton and Tama are next week. And then I believe the governor did additional declarations at the end of last week, so there might still be more coming for some counties, but that'll have to get set up. So, I mean, I know information is going out. I don't know specifically. I don't think there would be letters that are sent out, because we wouldn't know who all lost food or had a lot of damage.
I think I saw it in the paper. Might have been in the Gazette, if I remember correctly.
I know there's been
So-
articles in there from when they were doing it in Lynn County that week.
So that's, that's the things we've got to watch at. They've got theirs socially distant as far as their waiting area, but as they're coming into the building, are we going to set some chairs up, spaced apart? How are we going to handle this? And I think that's a security issue that we're going to have to get nailed down. I trust the sheriff can handle that type of thing very easily. So we just need to have him informed. So Are
Just one
you-
Saturday or?
Yes, it'll be Tuesday to Saturday.
Yeah.
That we're open,
I don't know that
Just 1 week of it, or?
correct.
it may require additional help, especially on Tuesday because of the food pantry.
Mhm.
So, again, back to the sheriff, you're gonna have to do some scheduling. Are you gonna stick around for the meeting the COVID meeting at 10? So we can discuss this with the sheriff by chance?
Oh, I can.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. Do you have any issues with being open on Saturday?
No, none.
Don't have any issues with security, screening and letting them in?
I wouldn't want a dozen people, even if they're 6 foot apart, in chairs in the hallway.
Well, I think that's where we have to have the sheriff, and with Mindy's cooperation, come up with kind of a plan.
And I mean, if it's nice weather, people can wait outside too. That's what they do for the food pantry.
Mhm.
If it's weather like last week, I wouldn't want to have people standing outside.
Well, the parking lot's fairly close, to say, so.
Mhm.
And I didn't, other than the handicap accessibility, I didn't know if that's something maybe we could utilize the conference room for, if no one's got it scheduled, where they can come in the north door, close to the parking lot, come in and have some distancing in there.
How many people can you handle an hour?
Well, we're gonna have 6 workers who are doing the interviews that take about 10 minutes.
So 6 times 6, 36 an hour.
That's pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, but say we can handle 30 an hour. I have no idea, honestly, what the turnout is going to be. The projection, they told me, was 1,848 people. So they said approximately 700 households, but
I would guess that this is a rural county, there'll be less than an urban county.
1848, and you've got cards for 700
that was 700 households, they believe
households.
that to be.
Okay, all right.
I think they would have a better idea after this week of doing Jasper and Powell, because those counties would be more similar,
Size-wise,
than Lynn County.
and rural in nature. Well, I think the board is good with, what you need to do. and coordinate it with the sheriff,
Okay.
you know, for security,
Mhm.
so. But, yeah. I don't know that we need to take any formal action.
The, people that had freezers and had meat, they had generators.
Not everybody,
Not all,
no, not
Really?
everyone,
no.
no. Mm-mm.
And with the disaster, a lot more people qualify for food assistance and having that replacement stuff because it's been declared a disaster. Which is a good thing for our residents.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of difference in people.
Yeah,
Some people got a freezer full of meat. There's generators 1,000 miles away and they'll figure it out. Next person,
big barbecue, huh?
and next person will have a freezer full of meat, generator in their basement, and they won't fire it up.
Well, I think you got the answer you needed from us, you know, it was just coordination with them. And, you know, if you would rather do that at your leisure, whatever, or you can wait for him, whatever you'd like to do.
Because he's coming at 10.
He's coming in at 10.
Okay, I can just wait for him out there and then.
Okay, all right. I'll make sure that, if you don't come back, then I'll make sure that he gets a hold of you.
Okay, all right, sounds
Okay.
good.
All right.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Mindy. Appreciate you coming in. I felt that she needed to inform everybody as to what was going on.
I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I see they got the flags in the flagpole today.
Didn't even go by there this morning. Good morning. No face shield this morning?
Well, I just thought I'd get my mask out. I've got. Thought I'd start wearing this for a while. I had to go to the treasurer's office and there's a lot of people going in and out of there, so I just thought I'd be careful.
Yeah. Good thing you don't wear glasses.
I do, but I don't need them right now. Have contacted me.
Doctor's office last week. I had to take my glasses off so I could see to walk. It just fogged up. So how's the painting project coming?
It's coming, let us dry. Last week was a washout.
I was gonna say last week was not a good time to paint. I was just waiting for the clock to tick.
Will they ever come out with that, cabin up north, they work on that?
They told him it's cabin.
Put canvas on it though.
You have a bad time to get a roof rebuilt.
With the winds and the rain last week, there's a lot of people in the tarps didn't hold.
Mm-hmm. Now they got mold in their house.
Yeah.
I know 2 families in New Hall that
Really?
moved out. One's in a camper, the other one's in a motel in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, it's because the insurance companies are getting right on things.
Well,
You also got the issue of
it's still
being on
your,
the list to get the work done.
yeah, I was gonna say, it's still your property. You still, yeah, you got damage, but you still gotta try to maintain what you got.
I didn't wait in 2011. I started in.
I took pictures and
Oh, you did.
we went to work, you know, so I don't know how many, well, I haven't got nothing from the insurance company or
It
anything.
was a bad deal.
One guy I've been dealing with, he got his check already, so.
But maybe Terry can do better.
Well, Barb, it's 9:45.
Okay, I'd like to set a land use hearing for Dennis Hearn for Tuesday, October 20th at 9:15, please.
So,
Second.
Tracy made the motion to set that land use hearing for October 20th, 9:15 a.m. for Dennis Hearn. And Gary seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay,
Very
thank you. And you're gonna do the COVID stuff at 10?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be back up, thank you.
All right.
That's, cabin's been wet for some time.
yeah, they went in there and they tore the T111 siding off the ceiling. And you know, they foamed it somewhere along the line and sprayed that foam up there. And they peeled off what foam would come off easy. And it wasn't as rotten as I thought it would be.
But it don't smell good in there.
No, I don't.
It didn't smell good before you were supervisor. I don't think it's being utilized very much.
They ain't renting it out at all. It hasn't been rented out, period, this year. But
What about last year?
last year it was rented out. But like I said, that's the difference, you know. I suggested before the storm hit, I said I would go up there and tear the metal off. And the problem is that where the 2 hips meet, you know, they only got a little piece of 4-inch flashing between the 2 transitions in the metal. That ain't long enough, you know what I mean? So I said I had valley tin sitting over here at Atkins, which I still do yet, to tear the steel off. And then when they laid it the wrong way. So I was gonna tear the steel off, turn it around, lay it right, and put a piece of valley tin in. Well, one of them on the board, works for Morton and thinks she should put a new roof on it, so. Okay,
Maybe you don't think that now, being so busy. We got one building in the skylight, I didn't know it, one of the skylights went up.
mm-hmm,
And now there's another one leaking. I found that out last week. So, there's 4 of them, 2 of them are bad, so I figure we just will replace the other 2 too. And, the one that flopped up, it came back down and it's intact for the most part. It didn't really leak whenever all that rain came last week, but I'm glad that it was windy out one day, so I found it. They're busy. They got he says, you sure you don't want to do this yourself? I probably should. We got enough other stuff to do.
Well, on top of it, you're gonna start harvesting.
maybe.
Maybe.
There's a lot of guys down our way that are just gonna run her.
Well, you're not gonna disc everything under your.
No, the
multiple
bean he'll be able
locations.
to take.
Yeah. So, but Gary's got locations. I mean, all of your corn hasn't been hit, has it?
Pretty much.
Kinda depends who your insurance carrier is.
Yeah.
You could buy a special corn head.
Rain and hail, yeah, I see, I ain't gonna do that. Rain and hail, they're one of the better, they're a company that kinda leading the other 3 insurance companies that their policy right now, they're telling everybody that, well, we value our farmers and we value the farmer's combine and the machinery that crop this year ain't worth it. Let it out there, destroy it. We'd rather have you and your machine around next year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're doing, they're just zeroing everybody out. End of story.
Seeks, I don't know how many thousand acres they farm, but they got all their corn zeroed out. It'd be tremendous. Probably got 3,000-4,000 acres of corn.
That's some big checks.
But let's say they go combine. Okay, they got all the hassle of combine it, nowhere to put it. And the insurance company's gonna pay what? 3 cents out of every 4? Or $3 out of every 4, because they're never gonna get
Right.
up to their minimums. So I think they're right. I think what's the hassle? Now, we got our insurance through down south, and I don't think they've been up here. They say we got to combine everything.
You do? Yeah, I got a neighbor across the road there, he's got a combine and everything, and then the neighbor south of me a mile, he's got to do 100 acres, minimum of 100 acres they gotta try.
It's just too bad we didn't get a crop, because we were going to have one hell of a crop. I don't think it'd have went in the bins. We got some of the stalks on the end of the field got ears on them this long, and then there's a second ear on the stalk, and it's planted at 30,000. I mean, geez. And then you break them, and there isn't hardly a cob. The kernels are deep. Whatever. probably deeper now than they were before because a bunch of the stalks died off. Left a little water. The ones that didn't.
Good morning.
There ain't gonna be no place to put any. I mean, there's places where they don't even have bean storage. I don't know what rent is. Bands. Guy ought to put up one and rent it out.
Good luck.
Well, I bet you I can get it in.
Pardon me?
I can't.
I asked him if he was, he said so.
Well, I think Scott, that's what Scott said yesterday. Yeah, I knew you guys had that yesterday.
You gotta have somebody to put it up, that's the problem, you gotta do it yourself. You know. I haven't seen, well, Bridgewater's put up a band. They had the top of it. They were working on the top of it when this thing hit, and I don't know how many thousand bushel it is, how much it's 100,000 bushel band. But they had it all. The crew was there already.
Get this on the agenda. Microphones and speakers for.
Can you tell them that the Julia's question?
Get it on for next.
Who did that?
Ben sent that out to us here a couple weeks ago.
You're the sheriff now.
Has that gotten quiet?
Yeah, I haven't heard much. Absolutely nothing I can say.
Well, sorry I brought it up.
It was pretty ugly there for a while, wasn't it, Haley? I even dragged you in the middle of it.
Shellsburg,
Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
Locked up, yeah. How you doing, Dave? Okay.
Well, Sheriff, we have a couple minutes here before 10 o'clock. I don't know if Mindy's had a chance. Okay. This coming week, next week, Tuesday through Saturday, the service center is going to need extra security.
Yep.
Okay. What is this technically called, Mindy?
DSNAP, Disaster Food Assistance.
Did you catch that?
Yep.
Yeah. And it's running from 8 to 4:30, is that correct? Tuesday through Saturday at the service center. No appointments, because this is federal.
Okay.
And so the screening has to be done. What we're gonna need to look at is social distancing, how many we're going to allow into the hallway prior to going into their offices. And on Tuesday, you may need extra staffing because of the food pantry being open, as well as staffing on Saturday.
Richard said he works Saturday. And I'll get with Mindy on their setup where they're gonna do things. And we'll make it work.
You would, so thank you.
Yep.
You're already on top of this, know all about it.
Yes, I did.
Attaboy.
I'll even talk to you about it.
I know, we haven't talked.
Dick did.
Good. And would you do me a favor and hand this down for the sheriff? Thank you. Thank you, Katie.
Yep.
Come have a seat, ladies.
It's okay. Before I'm all done.
Ringtone. He got no phone, he said. Well, it is 10 o'clock. Hopefully he'll step back into the room here momentarily. If we can give him another moment or two. And I think Barbara's coming back up, wasn't she? Didn't see Barb out there?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we might as well get started. Okay. All right.
Alright guys, so
Katie?
our current COVID numbers for Benton County, we are at 249 positive cases. 40% of our cases have been between the ages of 18 to 40, and 33% of those between the ages of 41 and 60. The amount of people that are asymptomatic with COVID has been about 13%, and those people with active symptoms, that is about 60% of the people.
I'm sorry, what was that last?
60% of the people have symptoms. You know, that 13% report no symptoms at all. We have tested a total of 4,570 here in Benton County. And then out of those, 4,313 of those have been negative, bringing us to our total of 249 positive. Right now, we probably have between, probably about 40 to 50 of those active cases. In our region 6, we have 72 people hospitalized with COVID. 15 of those are in the ICU, and we've had 9 admissions in the last 24 hours. We have 981 beds available. We have 132 ICU beds open, 172 beds available, and we have 5 people on ventilators right now that are COVID positive. We have had no long-term care outbreaks in Benton County so that's really good. Our numbers have just kind of steadily been rising, which was to be expected, especially as the last couple of weeks we've opened up schools. And so all the schools have been affected, with COVID in one way or the other, whether it's been a positive student or teacher, which we've worked with those schools and had those folks quarantined that were exposed and just getting through things. But everybody's doing really good with it. And so that's where a majority of my effort lies, is just the schools and kind of getting through these first couple of weeks especially.
So with the schools, I think they're going all day to one classroom, if you will. I think Benton Shellsburg's doing that, where the students don't travel around the school. They're in one room all day long. Is that correct?
With the Board of Education and COVID, so all the school districts, they've all kind of got their own local rules or things that they've put into place for COVID. So it's, we try to be consistent, but we work with those individual schools and those buildings, everybody's, a little different. So as far as keeping those kids together, a lot of schools are trying to cohort those kids so they're kind of around that same group and they follow through with that group, whether it's from the bus to the end of the day or keeping kids in their rooms or how they eat lunch. There's different plans for every school, but they have really worked hard at putting those plans in place.
So if a student or teacher tests positive and the quarantining happens, they then quarantine a classroom.
Yep, in
I
some
presume.
classrooms, if they're not able to social distance or have that 6 feet within 15 minutes is what we look at. So some of those kids, it could be just those kids that they're surrounded by. And, not everybody in the classroom, it just kind of depends on the layout, or if they're able to do that.
Yeah. Right. So, Sheriff, any input?
We are not gonna change anything we're doing in the jail. I did not get the chance to talk to Katie yesterday. Her past recommendation has been, what we're doing seems to be working, not to get in a hurry, and we should just stay status quo with what we're doing right now. And I agree with that. I believe, because of the closeness in the courthouse, we kind of have to treat the courthouse as a long-term care facility. We have to minimize all contact if we can, within reason. Because if we get somebody sick in here, that's when we close the courthouse. So I would like to see it stay the way it is.
And that's your recommendation, obviously.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing in the jail. They have opened up, so we can transfer to the prison systems again. It's been closed twice now because of outbreaks in prison systems. But right now we can transfer. Seems to coincide when the numbers spike, generally seems to close the prisons down to transfer anybody.
Melinda, how's it been at the treasurer's office? I mean, the concern was people coming in to pay their property
We've
taxes.
had a few want to come in and pay, but for the most part, they're leaving them in the drop box, mailing them in. If they want to come in, the guys will screen them and they're able to come in, but very few have wanted to do it, so.
I guess my concern, again, with just opening it up, hopefully, security is at least taking their names when they come in, even without that appointment, so that if there is a positive case, then we can go back and, quantify who was exposed or in the building at that time. So, Gary, saying something? Nope. Okay. Tracy? No?
I guess what is disease infection rate for the state, you know?
As far as our totals for the state, I can get those to you. I don't
Positivity
have
rate,
those.
according to the Waterloo Cedar Falls Courier yesterday, over the last 14 days, 8.8% positive.
In that 14-day average.
And they want, when they have an area that they've closed down, they want it to be, below 5 before they would recommend reopening.
And we are currently at 6.1% in Benton County for that 14-day average.
Katie, is it still the 10-day quarantine period? That has not changed, correct?
Yep, it's still the 10 days for the
If you're
positive,
exposed.
and then 14 days for exposure.
Yep.
So you're, one or the
One
other.
or the other,
Yep,
depending on the
yeah,
circumstance.
and your
Thank you.
symptoms, yep.
Well, Sheriff, your recommendation is to leave it as is that based off of conversations with the health department previously? And is that your recommendation?
I don't, how are things seem to be going now? Are we having a lot of complaints or issues as far as folks coming in, or?
Nobody's sick.
Yep, yeah, which is great,
Yeah.
that's our ultimate goal, so I was just kind of wondering, or like upcoming things that we have to look at,
I'm letting people in, or the security guards are letting people in to come in. They wanna come to mine or Healy's too, I believe. And we've not had any problems at all. And people are really happy that we're able to let them in.
Yeah, kind of coming in without having to have an
Yeah,
appointment.
yeah.
or-
So,
Well, I think the recorder's office probably has less, no offense, less traffic than the treasurer's office or the licensing department. So, I can understand that. And the voting issue is why we've got them, able to come into the auditor's office. So that's things that we,
I do get some calls that people are upset that they can't. There's some offices that won't let them come to them and without making an appointment. So it's kind of, difficult when they're here already to not be able to access the other offices within, but that's the complaints I get.
So I think, of course, we don't want to bottleneck any area, or we don't want to have to, have those large groups.
See, and I'm not opposed to us being open on, the driver's license won't be, but on the other side, it's just, I don't know how to control the people that we get if we don't have appointments. How we control, because they'll line up in the hallway and we don't want them to line up in the
They
hallway.
won't they shouldn't even be in the building then.
Yeah, because we don't really, we don't want people to gather, so, I think just for safety and to decrease that risk.
That was my only concern, I just didn't know what to do with them.
If they wanna take their chances that nobody's gonna be here, I guess they can stand outside. But we still wanna avoid people congregating in the hallways.
and this is a problem you're gonna have next week at the service center.
So I
How
think
you're gonna, tackle that.
we're better off to stay where we are.
So is that a recommendation for the next 30 days, or is this until further notice? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna use this as a polling place too. In Harrison Taylor, in the courthouse.
We're gonna have to bring them in.
I mean, as of right now, I'm still planning to use it.
We may have to bring them in another door. We'll talk about that and tackle that when we have to.
I mean, if they keep voting by mail, it won't be in person, but and the amount of mail I'm getting.
So are we waiting until the number gets to 5% cases, not 6? Is that when the thoughts are that we would reopen the door?
From what from that number just, became present to us this morning, obviously at 5%. I didn't know there was a magic number. Quite honestly, the disturbing fact is that the last few weeks it's been on the incline, but it makes sense with school, starting up again. So, yeah, it's going the wrong direction, in my opinion, to just throw the doors open. I'd like to see this thing, go for another 30 days, in my opinion. Gonna have to come up with some sort of solution if this is gonna be a polling place. I don't know what to do with that. This isn't easy, obviously.
I don't remember the skate rink, that as an additional polling place.
We did it in the primary, but it depends on how many workers and stuff I have working.
Because that's a big area.
It's a lot larger area, easier to have the social distancing, compared to downstairs.
It's not a busy place.
So,
Do you know how others are doing it, like comparable to our size? You guys
For the
have-
county.
Yeah.
you had provided I'm sorry.
The other thing I have to look at too, the state wants to know when I'm gonna start letting out of county people in driver's license.
In for driver's licenses.
Yeah,
What's the state doing with their,
appointments,
for them?
yeah, and that's what we're doing, that's where we're gonna stay, they're permanently staying.
You still haven't let anybody in yet from out of county?
No.
Really?
I did 90 days, but I think we're pushing it. I think I'm gonna have to start taking some.
Out of county. As long as to go through the screening process.
And you've been booked every day then,
Yes,
just by doing county?
yes,
Wow. So it would go to a first come, first serve on the phone to get an appointment, correct?
yeah, that's how it has been, but we're looking into a scheduling program because the CARES Act won't pay for it. Then that I can't control. The only problem with that is I can't control making sure Benton County people get the first appointment, but it'll help with the phone calls and that kind of thing.
So I assume that most of them are Lynn County
That wanna come in? Yeah,
County.
there's a few Black Hawk, like LaPorte, the people in LaPorte,
Okay,
Desert area,
so what about the other counties around, Buchanan, east of?
Some of them have been, were county only for a short time, and some of them have opened back up, going to whatever, but they weren't doing, some of them aren't as busy as we've been. Some have been busier, just all the time. Iowa County's taken in whoever. Jones was locked down to their county only for a while, but they will, supposedly they're still their county only, but I know other people have gone there. But we've been issuing, our numbers are twice what theirs are, what we've been issuing, so, and they were one of the top counties before.
How about Washington County? Because they're similar to us, what are they doing?
I haven't looked, I don't know.
And the driver's license is not a paying deal, or is a paying deal?
Yeah, we get $7 a license.
So can we justify putting somebody on for $7 a license?
It's not a profitable department,
It's just a
unfortunately.
service.
It is a service that we offer. So people coming in just to get a renewal, driving up from Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, wherever, it's not profitable for us, but then we're not here just to make a profit. It's to service our
Well,
county customers. county residents.
It's one thing to service out of county people if we're making a little money on it. I don't care if it's a quarter. But if we gotta, let our county people sit in line while we're servicing out of county people at a loss, that's a different deal.
It's just how long can we get by doing that?
They won't, they just asked me, they're not,
They're not pushing?
no.
Okay.
They just kinda said, you know, we got some phone calls, we wanna know when, cause it was us, Cedar and Jones that they were questioning. And I said, well, I said, the question and answer thing that you sent out just said temporary. You didn't say how long the temporary had to be. And if you're not giving me a time frame, I don't know how long. I said, we're revisiting it on September 15th, but, and then they didn't answer.
Your 90 days is up today then?
Roughly. Yeah, from when we did it in June, yeah. I know we're gonna pick up a lot more drives for Gary. I mean, he's been doing a lot. He's probably been doing, on Tuesdays, we do anywhere from probably 4 to 9. He just does them in the morning, so that's quite a few drives actually. But I know we've had some other county people reach out and wanna come here and drive because they're not passing in other places. Cause they think it's easier to drive in Benton.
They've never met your area.
But some of them, I said, it's gonna be at least October.
My opinion is that we'll keep going what we're doing now. Not change anything, which is letting people come in to Lexi's. To you, I suppose we should open up to other counties. But then again, that's
I think
by
personally,
appointment.
I think personally we ought to, like Gary had mentioned, you know, take care of our county residents. You know, I'd like to review this, have it stay as is, and review it October 20th. Which would give us about almost 2 weeks before the election, give us time to work through the election process here.
You might have to
What
do
you're
it
gonna do for polling.
Well, I have to.
sooner than that because
What's
it's
that?
October. Yeah, because it's October 5th, 6th, when you get to 5th, you get to send the ballots out.
Yes.
So they could technically come on the 6th already, to bring the ballot back. Now, they were gonna change it for a drop box,
Now they're letting us use the drop box, but I already put the signs
but
on.
you have to pick it up.
And I'd be the only one that has the key, because I have to be the one that's the only one that can get in there.
So can we still use the same drop box that we got? We don't have to get a different
Well,
one?
then I would just be the only one with the key. So.
Okay.
So you'd like to look at it on the 6th?
I think we should.
Basically 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think we should, because like I said, if somebody wants to bring their,
Yeah,
Well, I
they
guess
can't give it to
if
the
you can
community,
do-
they have to be able to bring it right up to my house.
yeah, if they don't wanna use the drop box,
Right. Or if they don't wanna mail them back, they have that right to come up.
can you come back, Katie, on the 6th?
Yep, absolutely.
That's what security is doing with the auditor's office. They say, I'm here to see the auditor, we don't ask any questions. You want to see the auditor, go through the screen, and away you go.
Okay.
That way in no way can we be accused of infringing on someone's privacy or rights.
Okay.
So for election purposes, you'll have things kind of figured out by the 6th.
Well, yeah, as of right now, I still am gonna probably use the courthouse. They try not to minimize it. It's just confusing for all of us.
We'll make it work. I don't know how just yet, we'll make it work.
All right, well, then
Just revisit it on the 6th.
do we need to take any formal action? No? Need to take any formal action for 3 more weeks?
I would just do a motion to keep things, the policy as current for the next, whatever the time period is.
And review it on October 6th. Okay, all right. Is that a motion, Tracy?
Yes, it is.
All right,
Second.
very good. Tracy made the motion, Gary seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for coming up here. And hopefully see you on the 6th.
Yes, I will be here. Anybody have any other questions for me here?
Thank you. I'll reach out to you on a time.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
She needs this one, keep her down in our office, come into her office. Without appointment.
She brought that up.
I didn't catch that, David, so.
She said that she needs to stop sending people down to my office after they're done in her office without appointments. So I said you should have brought that up.
Oh, you got that?
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Oh,
I knew it was coming at some point.
Yeah, okay. Are you gonna, could you set up a time then, so we can get together? Okay.
I didn't ask, but if in fact there's people coming out that are having trouble getting their license in Cedar Rapids, does that take more time for us?
It's like I'm agreeing.
I didn't think so either.
Aw, today?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
If they're banging away 30
Third one.
Congratulations.
30 licenses, you know what I mean,
Grandkid?
a day.
Pardon me?
New grandkid?
Granddaughter.
$7 a piece,
Yeah.
that's $210 a day. You know,
Hefty girl,
No,
10
cover.
pounds, 8 ounces.
hiring somebody new,
Hopefully she doesn't look like
you know what I mean?
Hopefully she doesn't look like her dad. Sorry.
It ain't gonna work. I mean,
If the state's taking appointments, if they're DOT stations, we can take appointments with the treasurer's office.
I would guess we could.
And I see no difference.
Other than, she said right now their appointments with Benton County people are still full, so if you throw in all of a sudden Lynn County, you're gonna start pushing Benton County people to the side.
Don't like that idea.
No, but there again, could they step up the pace and do more than 30? You know, I don't know.
I can't tell you that, cause
I
I don't
don't.
know.
I know the day I was up here Thursday, 2 weeks ago, and I was putting that plate on the bottom of that drop box, you know, there was a dozen people outside here, and that was between court cases. You know, there was 2 people, and an attorney was out there, and I've heard things of court cases that I didn't need to hear. That was taking place. They should have went somewhere else, you know, besides the people that wanted to pay taxes, and then also ones that wanted to do their driver's license. But that was just, that Thursday could have been a freak, that hour that I was here.
And we don't want that in our building,
Mm-mm.
in the hallways or wherever that may be.
The canopy's gone now, that looks better.
The function of it was good, but the look was terrible.
You didn't think the beer can look was good for the courthouse?
No.
Yeah,
I'd rather have a beer tent than Wilbert's, you know, funeral home.
I was looking for something, and there was nothing.
Well, before very long at all, we're gonna have to sit down and talk about how you wanna arrange things for the election. And that's, what, Eden Taylor, he voted fairly heavily on that too.
Depends, yeah, depends on how much we get. the mail today, I'm sure of that.
I hear Polk County's had 89,000 requests.
Oh, wow.
If you think about it, I mean, 17,000 total, so we have
Yeah. How many do you have already?
over 3,000.
We have 17,000 registered. How many more do you expect?
Well, the mailer just went out from the state, so
We could
a lot
have
more,
half of them.
probably. I'm anticipating about 8,000 probably. We just got our ballots today, so let's start marking.
That's a lot of mail.
A lot of work. That does really help.
There you go. He's professional.
Give that to David.
He's professional mischief, man.
We have to put all these people in here individually. That money to that has to be turned in today.
Thank you. Tracy, yes. And possibly. The second one. I don't know if we will likely be favorable outcome
Because I don't watch the
for
national.
the applicant.
I've been hearing things on the radio, little blips about possibly a vaccine coming shortly.
What's your definition of shortly?
Look, the one news blip I heard on the radio was around Thanksgiving.
I thought they could put in tranquilizer guns and use it at the protesters and back and shoot them. Just my thought.
I like to tranquilize everyone for a while. This whole country, we could take about a 24-hour nap all at the same time.
It's gonna get worse. Because summer's over.
How's the theft in the county? I know we had some problems here in past, but recently, not too much.
Overall, I'd say it doesn't change a lot. It picks up in, when it gets heavier, it's always on the eastern side of the county. Generally speaking.
Yeah, I didn't know what, the damage that my area around there, if they had more. There's less buildings go through,
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
I can sense that. Especially the northwest rural areas that you can tell just by the way the people act. It's a lot safer there than it would be in the southeastern part of the county.
Myron, you're up, Beth. Okay?
I need to table those 3 items till next Tuesday.
Yeah.
That was easy.
Well,
Didn't get it done in time, huh?
No, the monthly DOT letting is today. Bids were due at 10 o'clock this morning. There's 25 projects in the DOT letting. Benton County's is the first one, but the results have not been posted yet, so I just left the office 3 minutes ago. So I cannot do those 3 items yet, so.
Is there anything else?
I know, but I didn't know if, since Dave and Ron were here, whether item 5 had been discussed or if that was further discussion here.
It's been tabled. Would you like a copy of that?
I have a copy of that. Haley forwarded it to
I
me.
read that.
My suggestion, based on our usage, would be on an hourly rate, not a flat monthly rate.
Seems like that pretty much,
agreement on that.
you know,
I agree
consensus.
also.
That's how we did Prime Bureau with ours.
Yeah, Brian was just hourly.
I don't know if you are pursuing other quotes or at all.
Would like
there
some.
was.
I would like some.
Me too. I don't know if they do that. I just say I know one individual's name at least that used to work for Gruen Law Firm that works for a different law firm in Cedar Rapids. I think whether they do those negotiations, I don't know. Brett Nitsky. I know he was involved with some PERB action representing Gruen Law Firm when he was working for Ryan, and has since, I don't know how long ago, it hasn't worked for him for a while, but is semi-familiar with at least secondary roads contracts, so I don't know. Bringing somebody new in, there's gonna be a little bit of learning curve, somewhat. I mean, time spent just on acclimating, to each department's contract.
As long as we all get along, it shouldn't be a problem.
And that's for the union negotiation part of this.
Right.
But it's also for
But I also know
the HR.
How many employees out there, are they all union, secondary roads? I mean, do they have the option?
there are those positions that are covered under the bargaining unit contract, those employees have the option of being a bargaining unit paying member or not.
Okay,
Those that are identified in the bargaining unit contract as not covered under the unit would be the county engineer, the assistant county engineer, it's called, weed commissioner, like the roadside manager.
Yep. Yep.
Office staff, office manager, maintenance superintendent, and shop foreman.
Okay,
So all of the remaining secondary road employees would be,
mandatory?
no, they're just the wages and the work aspect
It's the time of year.
that are, all of the language that's in the union contract would apply to all of those covered employees regardless of whether they were a dues paying member or not.
Okay.
So
I
where
was-
there's differences between the union contract and the county handbook policy, those, let's say those secondary road employees that would choose not to be a bargaining unit paying dues member, those benefits or that are maybe different than the counties, they would still follow that union.
Iowa's not a fair share state.
Yeah, I didn't think they were.
You don't have to pay your dues, but you still get the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
What's the expectation as to what they would be doing for HR?
Well, if there's any, question, again, we don't have anyone trained with HR. Nancy does the
Well, we would
payroll.
do like, we would handle like the Cobra insurance, to make sure the people are informed of all the proper stuff. And,
The FMLA.
yeah, just make sure we don't miss anything in between.
Any kind of price.
But if you pay them just as needed,
What are you gonna do when you have a situation where, as we've had in the past, where something needs to be investigated? And they're just gonna run with it?
I have no clue.
That is pretty darn expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
At $2.85 an hour. I think of one here from the not too distant past.
Well, we need to look at other options as well. So this was one that was just a recommendation through Heartland, one they've had experience with, so, yeah.
I was able to talk to Blackhawk County Sheriff, and, he highly recommended it.
Some of the auditors I thought they very well.
Well, is there anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
You got somebody in mind? A firm?
Throw out a recommendation or get a proposal or whatever?
Yeah, when you go through this,
Of
talk to
course.
people first.
Yeah, it was just a place to start. Sweet. Got a motion?
I'd prefer to see something closer than that.
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 I got their name. I don't know the name.
Uh-huh.
So I don't, what if I've got it on